All right. You know, this immigration story, Vanessa, this is probably one of the worst stories I've ever heard when it comes to immigration.
And you've heard a lot of things.
And I've heard a lot of things. This is as bad. Yeah. This one's as bad as it gets.
Oh, no.
U.S. immigration officers are accused of allegedly torturing Cameroonian asylum seekers, forcing them to sign their own deportation orders in a brutal scramble to fly African migrants out of the United States of America in the run-up to the elections so Donald Trump can have better deportation numbers. Many of the Cameroonian migrants in a Mississippi detention center refused to sign these deportation orders, fearing death at the hands of the Cameroonian government. Remember, these are asylum seekers. They are escaping violence in the Cameroon. Now, the Cameroonian government forces are responsible for widespread civilian killings. Even to this day, a lot of these migrants still have not even had their asylum hearings yet. Now, according to multiple accounts, detainees were threatened, choked, beaten up, pepper sprayed in their eyes, and even threatened with more violence after they refused to sign after all of that happened. Wow. Several of these Cameroonian migrants who were escaping violence only to come to more violence in a jail in America were put in handcuffs by ICE officers, had their fingerprints forcibly taken in place of a signature on documents called stipulated orders of removal, by which the asylum seeker waives their right to any further immigration hearings and accepts deportation. Lawyers and human rights advocates said there has been a significant acceleration of deportation in recent weeks, a trend they see as linked to the looming elections and the possibility that ICE could soon be under new management. Christina Fiallo, executive director of an advocacy group, Freedom for Immigrants, said, "The abuse we are witnessing, especially right now against black immigrants, is not new, but it is certainly escalating." A complaint filed by FFI, which is the Freedom for Immigrants rights group, and the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has been a longtime civil rights group, they cite 8 cases of forced signatures or fingerprints on stipulated orders of removal. One of those involved, identified by the initials BJ, said that on September 27th, just 3 weeks ago, ICE officers pepper sprayed me, and I'm quoting, ICE officers pepper sprayed me in the eyes, and one officer strangled me almost to the point of death. I kept telling him, I can't breathe, I almost died. Wow. Now, as a result of the physical violence, they were able to forcibly obtain my fingerprint on the document, says BJ. Another detainee known as DF said that he was ordered to sign his deportation order by an ICE agent on September 28th. He said, I refused to sign. He pressed my neck into the floor. I said, please, I can't breathe. I lost my blood circulation. Then they took me inside with my hands at my back where there were no cameras. Now, according to his account, he was then taken to a punitive wing of the Adams County Center known as Zulu, and he was subjected to further assault. Now, this is what is in the news. It's been reported by several different news outlets. This is a lawsuit. These allegations are by Cameroonian asylum seekers. What we don't know, I don't know, because this news has just come out today, what has happened to these asylum seekers since this lawsuit. Have they been removed from the United States? Are they in another detention center? Are they getting a hearing? Have they been given better treatment since this litigation started? Now, you have multiple lawsuits. You have civil rights lawsuits. You have Bivens complaints against the individual officers who did this. You have federal torts, intentional infliction of emotional and physical harm, along with all of the civil rights violations as it relates to immigration. I mean, they have lawsuits left, right, and center here. Nobody would want to go through that. But where they are now, what has happened since these allegations have surfaced? I don't know if they're in the United States, they're out, if they're getting better treatment. We'll have to do some more research and dig and hopefully get some more information. But I don't know the answers right now. That is as bad as it gets.
It's so ironic to me that these are the same people that, in history were taken out of their land to come here to build this country. And now the ancestors that would want to come here willingly because they, are trying to escape danger from their own countries can't even come in here. It's like, it's just so ironic and wild. It's sick to me.
It actually, you know what? You happen to be right. I never thought of that. It's a really, really valid point you make in terms of the irony of this. I didn't think of that, but yeah, very valid point, Yo-Yo. Vanessa?
Pisses me off.
No.
Yeah.
Well, like you guys are saying, it's irony because it's not history repeating itself. It's like the same people that built this shit.
Yeah, it's irony more than anything. It's the same people.
Yeah.
It's the same people being abused. It's the same people being abused. That's if you really want to get to the bottom of it. Generation after generation after generation after generation.
It's like
blah 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 blah. I mean, after a while, you become almost immune to hearing this, especially with immigrants now. People become immune to it because it's so bad every day. It's like you almost become immune to Donald Trump, that in any other time, any president would have said any of this, he would have been thrown out of office. But you know what? After a while, it's like you become immune to the pain of it all, I guess. I don't know, hearing it, and you lose your you lose your empathy, and people lose their empathy. It's horrible.
Right, which is why I said that this immigration should be a part of the debate when we were saying like that wasn't even
tonight.
It was number one the last time, but like now it's not even in the top 10.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
I hope Joe Biden brings it up somehow, just because it's, by the way, just because they don't ask the question. When did you ever see a debate when somebody actually even answered the question? You can bring up whatever you want. And by the way, the debate, you're going to get 2 minutes of Joe Biden uninterrupted. Then you're going to get 2 minutes of Trump uninterrupted. And then it's going to be, World Wrestling Federation free-for-all screaming at each other. That's what the debate's going to be tonight.
Right.
Because they're muting
mics for the first 2 minutes of each person's answer. And then after that, it's like Hulk Hogan versus Rowdy Piper. WrestleMania, right?
Right, WrestleMania, yeah, that's what's going down tonight.
That's what's going down tonight. Once the mics go unmuted, it's going to be WrestleMania, Meanwhile, CBS News did a interview. Lesley Stahl did an interview with Donald Trump, and that thing went off the rails. CBS News said that the White House broke an agreement by posting footage of an interview that Donald Trump did with correspondent Lesley Stahl. It was supposed to be aired on 60 Minutes. The network said in a statement, the White House's unprecedented decision to disregard their agreement with CBS News and release their footage will not deter 60 Minutes from providing its full, fair, and contextual reporting, which presidents have participated in for decades. Now, during the interview, Trump complains that he's getting unfair treatment from the media. What else is new? And that CBS News and 60 Minutes have not been covering the Hunter Biden Obamagate stories. Stahl, though, tells him, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things that we can't verify. That is the point. The New York Post, which, by the way, if anybody doesn't realize this, is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who also owns Fox News, which is why you see the New York Post and Fox News is the only news outlets, and of course some right-wing conspiracy outlets running this Hunter Biden, because it's unverifiable news. It's conjecture, it's not verifiable, and for something to be newsworthy, it has to be a verifiable fact by 2, 3, 4 different sources. You can't run something on one source because it's one source lying. Okay, that's basic news 101. If you ever go and take
media 101.
Right, if you ever go take a journalism class, the first thing is verify your sources. You can't run with a story with just one source. And that's what's happening with this Hunter Biden. Nobody has been able to verify outside of this one source what's going on. And Trump is complaining, well, you're not airing it. Well, where's the verification, Donald? That's what Lesley Stahl says. We can't put things on that we can't verify. Where's the verification? So they had a back and forth, and then Stahl says, listen, you are the president. Don't you think you should be accountable to the American people? And with that, Trump then complained that she was not doing an interview with Joe Biden with these hard questions, that she was giving Joe Biden softball questions. And Trump said, you know, you started with me. Your first statement was, are you ready for tough questions? That's no way to talk. You know what? You're the president of the United States. If you're not ready for a tough question, don't be president of the United States.
Exactly. Or don't do trifling stuff.
Exactly.
Like,
now,
you know that. What is an interview when you don't ask real questions? Like, they're going to ask you questions that have to do with you. So if you're going to do trifling stuff, they're going to ask you trifling questions.
So Trump, to be a jerk, a pumpkin jerk, because that's what pumpkins are. Pumpkins are jerks, I think. I don't even like Halloween anymore because it reminds me of a pumpkin. All right? Every time I see a pumpkin now for Halloween, it reminds me of Donald Trump. I get angry at pumpkins now. You know, to be a jerk, Trump released the interview before it aired on 60 Minutes. And he wrote, look at the bias, hatred, and rudeness on behalf of 60 Minutes and CBS. Tonight's anchor, Kristen Welker, is far worse. Now, she is the one who's going to be moderating the debate. Now, Welker's with NBC News. She's moderating the final debate. But what is very interesting about all of this was that even though Trump has been attacking Kristen Welker in advance of the event, his campaign agreed on her to be the moderator, number one. And number two, back in January, no less than 9 months ago, he praised Kristen Welker when she was promoted to co-anchor of Today. And this was at a press conference in Davos, Switzerland. Trump said to the press conference when he was talking about Kristen Welker, I guess she asked a question. He said, by the way, congratulations on your show. They made a very wise decision. Welker responded gamely by inviting Trump for an interview, to which he replied, oh, good. So 9 months ago, she was wonderful. Now she stinks.
Right. When
Hey,
when it's
guys,
convenient for them, like anything else.
Hey, guys, I one quick question. Who would be your dream moderator?
Who would be my dream moderator? That's a loaded question. And the reason why it's a loaded question is because you say somebody who's going to really go after Trump or somebody who's going to be really, really tough and not take any BS. I don't have an answer. I don't know. Who would be yours?
Mine probably, I mean, he can't do it, but I want to see Samuel L. Jackson go there and moderate.
That would be funny. That would be great.
That's actually a really good one. I had never
I would
thought
love
about
to see
this.
one of them try and not listen to him.
Yeah. I would just throw out names. That's a great person to be the moderator.
Right.
That is a really good one. I can't beat that.
Yeah.
I can't beat
Right.
that.
I like that. Let's get Samuel L. Jackson for 2024, right?
There you go.
and then he can repeat some of his lines from Pulp Fiction right before he kills Brad with the big brain, right?
It would be genius.
That was a good one, yo.
Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, former President Barack Obama blasted Donald Trump in a speech ahead of tonight's debate over Trump's comment that there is not much he would change about his administration attempts to stop a virus that has now killed close to 250,000 Americans and has devastated the economy. Said Obama, really? Not much you'd change? Nothing you could think of that could have helped some people keep their loved ones alive? Joe's not going to screw up testing. He's not going to call scientists idiots. He's not going to host a super spreader event at the White House. Joe will get this pandemic under control. Obama also commented on a report by the New York Times exploring Trump's financial records, revealing that the president had a bank account in China. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. He paid more taxes in China in 3 years than he paid in the United States in the last 20. Said Obama, can you imagine if I had a secret Chinese bank account when I was running for re-election? You think Fox News might have been a little concerned about that? They would have been calling me Beijing Barry. And I'm going to tell you something, but the best thing that Obama said, which really hits home, and this is really what it comes down to, whether you're on the right, you're on the left, you're in the middle, okay? There is no question that Trump's a psychopath. He's psychologically deranged, and he is causing a lot of division in the United States of America. And I'll tell you what Obama said, which really hits on point, whether you're right, left, center, wherever you fall. With Joe and Kamala at the helm, you're not going to have to think about the crazy things he said every day. It just won't be exhausting anymore. You might even be able to have a Thanksgiving dinner without having an argument. And if there is any reason, whether you're on the right, you're on the left, you're in the center, to just end this already, that is the reason.
That's so true. Because it's so draining. So true.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Meanwhile, did you see in Wichita, a man was arrested on suspicion of threatening to kidnap and kill Mayor Brandon Whipple over frustrations with the city mask ordinance. Police confirmed that Meredith Dowty is the suspect and said he can face a charge of criminal threat. Mayor Whipple said he had been read a series of text messages received by another city official that asked about Whipple's address and contained a detailed threat against his life. The apparent motive, masks and tyranny. This is what we're living in right now, where people feel that Donald Trump is giving them full recourse to take the law into their own hands. I was talking about this with Shannon, and you've seen Shannon on, Spar Bernstein Attorney Spotlight. And, we were both of kind of the opinion that, people say, Trump is causing all of this racism. And I don't know if he's causing, obviously, he's causing racism. But what he's doing is he's making racism okay for people.
Right.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. He's making racism okay. I think there's always been racism. I don't think all of a sudden Donald Trump came and all of a sudden now we have racists. But what he's doing is he's making racism okay. Where before, the racists would have their meeting in somebody's basement and like, oh, we can't say anything. Don't, stay in the freaking basement. Don't come out in the open. Stay in your basement.
Down to potential Senate.
Right, right.
And back to the N-word the other day.
But now, what I think the biggest danger that Donald Trump did to America was he said it's okay to be racist. That's to me.
And that's so dangerous because that was 4 years of that.
Right.
So now even if Joe Biden does take the presidency, is you're gonna have to go back and be like, all right, this isn't okay. But now they done, they felt the fire. They felt the heat. They like how it feels out here. So it's gonna be hard to even bring them back down to where we were, before this presidency, where they would have to go in the basement and have their meetings there secretly. Now they feel the power, so it's going to be hard to try and take it away from them again.
People are speaking up a lot more now too, so it's not like they can just look the other way or brush anything under the rug.
Just to add to all of this, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer demanded, remember, she was almost kidnapped by right-wing terrorists up in Michigan. And now she demanded an end to Trump inciting violence. Whitmer, as you remember, she was the target of an alleged kidnapping plot by Trump-supporting militia members. Called out the president after he attacked her at the rally in Muskegon, Michigan, working the crowd into a frenzy and triggering a chant by the people at his rally, yelling, "Lock her up." Now, Trump said to the crowd, you got to get your governor, open up your state, and get your schools open. Get your schools open. The schools have a right to be open, right? You know what Trump failed to say there? His son Barron, he goes to school. His school is not fully open. How come Trump is not going down to Barron's school and demanding that Barron's school fully open? I would love to see Donald Trump go down, say, I'm the president of the United States, Principal Smith of Barron's school. I demand you open this. His own son's school doesn't say anything about it.
Exactly, because if he really felt true about this, then he felt like this was for the best of the people, for the people, then he would have his kid, do the same thing. He could force that school to open. Now, he has that power. Now,
at the same rally, when the crowd started chanting "Lock her up" with absolutely no justification, Trump smiled and repeated the phrase. Then he chillingly added, "Lock them all up." You don't think he's starting, all sorts of political, racial, it's like a war.
System. Yeah, and oh my goodness. See, he just can't makes a decision and then he takes it back. It's just a mess. Let's vote, people. We need to vote.
With incense smoke, flowers, and photos of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Peruvian, is it a shaman or shaman? I guess a shaman. They performed an ancestral ritual last month for the U.S. elections to take place in peace without attacks or any witchcraft. Now, the shamans are regarded as having access to and influence in the world of good and evil. Do you believe in any of this stuff? Not really. Chanting, I see that on your faces. Now, they were chanting and blowing a traditional Peruvian shell instrument. The shamans, dressed in multicolored garb, invoked Pachamama, or Mother Earth. Now, during the ritual, the shamans, dressed in Andean ponchos and cloaks, rubbed medicinal plants, fruits, and even a live snake. More than 2,600 years ago, since they were buried, archaeologists in Egypt say they have found at least 59 ancient coffins south of Cairo, the one containing the pristine mummy of an ancient priest. Now, the sarcophagi, is that what it's called? I guess the sarcophagi have remained unopened since they were entombed near the famed Step Pyramid of Djoser in Saqqara, according to Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. A sealed door was also unearthed where it is expected more mummies may lie behind. Would you be opening that mummy tomb? Yo-Yo, do you want to go in and be the first to open the mummy tomb? They found more mummies. They're going to be opening it soon.
How hard can I say hell no?
Then, okay. Hell no.
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 You're imagine
No.
trapped for thousands of years. I've always been really interested in like Egyptianology, so I would kind of want to see that.
Now, speaking of Egypt, they've opened up a new restaurant called Nine Pyramids Lounge, which covers an area of 1,300 square meters and overlooks the Giza pyramids. There will also be a fleet of new environmentally friendly buses to guide tourists around the plateau. Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, said one of the problems always faced is that people say there's no special services for tourists, there's no cafeteria, no restaurants, nothing. Now they have a cafeteria near the pyramids. I guess it's a tourist trap wherever you go these days. Now, tourism counts for up to 15% of Egypt's national output. Did you ever want to go to Egypt?
Yeah.
I still want to go.
Yeah.
I'm all about history, so I love history and hieroglyphics and all that. So
yeah, I'd like to see that.
I definitely want to.
All right,
But I heard that you should know somebody out there if you're gonna go, because my best friend
Same.
went out there and they tried him with the camel rides. So you gotta know somebody.
You get taken out there in the desert, right?
Yeah.
Right. You pay too many shekels out there for a camel ride, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, let's move on to Ireland, another place I'd always love to go. I've never been. The Ireland Supreme Court has ruled that bread sold by the fast food chain Subway contains so much sugar, it's not bread. The ruling came in a tax dispute brought by Bookfinders, an Irish Subway franchisee, which argued that some of its takeaway products, including teas, coffees, and heated sandwiches, were not liable for the VAT, the value-added tax in Europe. A panel of judges rejected the appeal Tuesday, ruling that the bread sold by Subway contains so much sugar it should be categorized as a staple food, which is not taxed. The judgment read, there is no dispute that the bread supplied by Subway and its heated sandwiches has a sugar content of 10% of the weight of the flour included in the dough and thus exceeds the 2% specified. They are not getting taxed because the Subway bread is just sugar. You're basically buying sugar instead of bread, according to Ireland.
Good thing I let go of that.
What do you think of that? I've never been to Subway. I never ate a Subway sandwich. I don't know. Is it really that sugary? I don't know if I've ever eaten a Subway sandwich. Is it that sugary?
Well, now I don't
I've
remember
had
it that
Subway
way.
sandwiches a lot. Yikes. Maybe I shouldn't have
I
it
haven't had
anymore.
one in a long time.
I have a Subway right down the street, so that's why I go there after the gym. Yikes.
A UK man has said he has to take proof of identification everywhere he goes because his name is Jimmy Corona. That's right. Jimmy Corona says he has never previously had a problem with his name, but since the outbreak of coronavirus, he's had huge problems. The 38-year-old even has to show ID to medics at the birth of his son because they refused to believe that his kid would be called Baby Corona. Jimmy says he's had people laughing at him in the pub, had deliveries questioned as companies ask his name. And by the way, it is a Polish name, Corona, with a K, not with a C. He's a construction worker. He said, nobody can believe my name is Corona, so I show them my bank card or passport to prove that's my name. It's always been my name. It feels weird having my name everywhere. It just feels dead strange hearing your name being said over and over. I think he needs to change his name.
Yeah, that sucks because that will never change.
Corona's never leaving. I think.
Or at least the middle name.
Yeah.
Could have given him like a
it's
Corona
like
Joe.
it's like Corona
least
beer
they'll
needs
call
to
him
change
Joe.
their name too, right? Nobody's ever going to want to buy a 6-pack of Corona beer anymore. They've got to
Right.
change their name.
Or they'll
Right,
always just be a joking reference to.
A passenger has given birth prematurely to a baby boy at a flight in India. Flight attendants helped deliver the infant, who cried mid-air 2 weeks ago. In a statement, the airline confirmed the new arrival was a baby boy. The crew was praised for their amazing teamwork. Can you imagine you're on a plane and somebody gives birth?
Wow.
Yeah, one passenger tweeted, they set up a hospital in minutes and then newborn cried mid-air. Wow. It is not the first time a baby was born on a flight. A baby was born on a flight in Alaska in August this year, named Sky by his mother. I got to give you some advice. If you know you're about to give birth, don't get on the plane.
Why are you on
Why are you on
the
an
plane now?
airplane?
I thought you couldn't travel that late.
It was a premature birth.
By the way, yes, it was a premature birth. She was not 32 weeks yet pregnant. She just went early.
Got you.
She just went early.
Hey.
Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.